Sorry, but the video got turned off. Well, I thought that I was pressing the pause button, so I'm going to have to try to figure out how to piece the two together, or you might get two links. So I've sort of let this dry a little bit. I don't know if you can see how cool, this is still wet here, but just what the paint does. And when it's allowed to do its own thing. So I am going to now, I'm going to put some water around here, just a little bit. You could put it wherever you want. I'm not going to draw. I'm just going to look to see where it's wet. And I'm going to put a little fish in here. Just do their own thing. It's pretty cool, huh? So now I haven't put water down first, so I'm just going to do it wet. Drop a little more orange in there. Now fish like to hide. Drop a little darker orange. And I'm sort of cheating by not washing my brush out and getting a different orange, but I know it's not hurting that. So I love to watch my fish because they move and come up and go down, and I never really see them whole. I've had to put I put some copper pipes, little thin copper pipes across my pool because the heron come over and eat my fish. They're very brazen. So I'm just trying to get some movement in there with those fish. And now I'm going to put it on pause. Be very careful and let that dry. Okay, I'm back, and things have pretty much dried except for, like, there are a couple of really wet places. So I'm going to show you that I want to keep working with this painting, but I don't want to take a chance that this orange is going to run. So I'm just going to lift it up and get rid of it for now. I could have painted this whole thing blue to have like a watercolor first, but I decided not to do that because I wasn't sure whether I would want to make maybe some reflection of clouds on it or sunset, or what kind of color would I want to do to make this really interesting. I mean, right now it's interesting, and it's normal, you know what it is. But, me, I like a lot of color. I can always come back and put more color on top of what I've already done. The paint, it has a little edge to it, so other paint will run to it and stop. It won't run, once it's dry, it won't run in and mix. It's only when it's wet that it begins to mix. So that's why I wanted to get that orange up, so it doesn't mix with the color that I'm going to put next. So I am going to put some blue around, and I'm going to start off with that color that I like so much, and I'm going to mix a bunch of it here. Just lift up some water. It's a pretty intense, and I don't want it to be too strong. There was a little purple in there, but that's not going to matter. Can you all see what I'm doing over here? It's so strange to be doing a video and not have anybody here to talk to. So I've got this color mixed up, and it doesn't matter that I might use the dirtier water. It's not that dirty, but because I've just started out, but I'm just going to use that. I'm just going to put a little down. And then I'm going to put a little of this paint, see what happens. And it's a good thing that I taped my paper down, because I'm putting a lot of water on it, and it'll rumple up, but it'll dry flat. But this is sort of an exercise in painting wet and wet, so that's what we're doing today. Just so you can see how cool the paint works. Of course, now I'm wet on dry. So I'll put a little bit of water and see what happens as it runs around. And you know, water has a reflection of the sky and light. So always there are different patterns on it. I'm just keeping the color on my brush, dropping. This in there. Cleaning that off, and we'll put some water in. Let's just see what happens if we put another color blue in there. Let's try this one. Ooh, that's nice, huh? Oh, that's beautiful. Yum. Let's drop a little bit of that in there. You can see where the paper was dry here. You see, and so I have much more intense, but if I want to spread that out, I can. I can even move my paper like this. You can see the paint running and how it, whoops, let's see what happens now. It's going to go into my, shoot, it's making a storyteller out of me. I wonder what would happen if I do this. Let's see. Could be like clouds. A little bit on that, clouds on the water. Maybe it is sunset. Now you can tell my paper has started to buckle, and that's what's happening here. But that's okay. Let's see what happens. Whoops, there goes the green, but that's okay. That's okay. So I'm going to push pause again and let this dry. So I used a hair dryer to dry this because I'm in a hurry. I want my light to go away. And you can see how the hair dryer pushed some of that water around, which actually I like. You know, I mean, those are techniques and surprises because you have to work with that stuff to. The surprises are what get you moving, actually, for me anyway. So I am going, and also I don't know if you've noticed that things sort of dry lighter. And so in looking at this whole thing, I'm darker down here. You know, some of this movement on top of the water is good, but I definitely think that I need some stronger color in my water lilies. So I'm just gonna come here with sort of a little outline. And that's still wet. I'm going to also get a little bit of that blue. This is that darker blue. And just to give it some contrast. And just to, this is just a little water lily study. Some of these lines might not stay, but so what was that color? It was this one, right? I'm gonna put a little more of that up here. I always like how that paint goes right up to the edge of the piece. I'm going to use a little of this purple. Let's see what happens there. It's really dark. The dark, dark purple. So I think to sort of balance it out too, I'm going to go ahead and do a little more orange on these. I feel like I even need something in there and down there. Let's see. Give him some tails. Definitely needs a tail. Okay, so let's see. What kind of, do you think I need some thing that looks like that and that? You need to be more organic. What do you think? I think I would like to have some more of that magenta, so I'm going to put some water around there, there, and there, and there. I'm just going to lightly touch. Where did I put it? Right there, 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 there. That looks sort of vacant, but I think I'm going to do some more magenta in these areas to give it some color. Okay, right. It's hard to see. I'm liking the way that's mixing. This area, maybe some shapes. That might be good. Let's see. We'll do the with the brush. Yeah, I like that, so I'm going to just get rid of it. See, I can go back in and let that bleed some more if I want. Right here. Now I'm going to, I think I'm going to do that. I like that better, the bleeding out instead of the line. So strong. And if I make a line around something, I usually make a broken line, you know, like ch-ch-ch. Just because I like the organic nature. I think I'm going to put a little more, make it a little darker. And if something happens like this, that dot of paint, and let's say that I don't want that there, I mean, I can dry that off with my brush. And let's say maybe I want to make that into a fish. You have fish come up to the top and you don't get to see the whole thing. A lot of fish in this pond. Uh-oh, over here I got some fish I gotta make. Well, so you get the picture anyway. I might and I think right over here, I'm going to put some of this darker blue in. See what that does. This is just another blue, trying to get as many colors in this water as possible. Put a little right there, and a little right there. The thing about watercolor, the more you layer it, the more interesting it becomes. And the richer, the more rich. I'm going to let that dry. Now that this is almost dry, I've mixed up a little of the magenta over here, just a small amount. And I'm going to put it over top of some of these areas just to get more color. And it's just, this is just a thin wash. And you can see that even some of my orange is bleeding into it, but I'm sort of pretending that this is a sunset. And I'm actually, what I'm trying to do is to get rid of the white that's on here. And it's mixing with the well, it's actually not mixing with the blue. It's the blue, you can see the blue is shining through. That's the transparency of the watercolor, and that's what makes it so interesting. So for these areas where I feel like I need a little more oomph, and a little movement, you know, like if I feel like it's sort of stopped, the movement of the fish, the idea of, you know, them moving around, creating ripples and looking at the picture in a camera, like I'm on my tippy toes looking down to see what you all are seeing me do, is very interesting because it shows up all of the darker areas, probably even more. I've got light coming in this way from the window, but what you can do also, when this dries, which I'll show you in a minute. I'm going to put it on pause again. Okay, this is the last little part. So pretty much it's dry. I'm going to leave it like it is, except that I'm going to come back in with a little of the red. Just feel like I want to touch up, give myself some more stronger fish. And so this is the sort of the part, the last little strength part. And the idea here is that we're looking through the water. We're just seeing movement and reflection. And we've used our techniques that we learned in the first class. So, there you go. Thank you all for watching. Hope everybody's staying safe and doing something fun. Reading some good books, taking a nap. I've had so much sleep, I don't know what to do. I'll see you all next week.